you hear an opera singer, it's impressive. It's overwhelming.
It's highly dramatic, and it doesn't really tell easy stories. Opera is not a conversation. Opera is a screaming match.
One of the things that I have been thinking about is the relevance of the art form of opera. Why does it matter? Currently, suicide is the #1 cause of death of teenagers in the United States. This is where we can hit upon something. There are more than 500 instances of suicide, the ideation of suicide, or attempted suicide in the opera repertoire.
Suicide in opera has been romanticized every single time.
That makes it so critical that we address the issue.
We need to figure out a way to use the high stakes and emotion of those operatic stories in an advantageous way. And I think that in Chiaroscuro, we found that this is the opportunity to tell stories that we can relate to today.
Use the chord to look at her like, can you just get out of my room right now? Chiaroscuro is a total reframe of traditional opera scenes in a teenager's life of today. It is a mental health suicide prevention program.
We're combining social emotional learning, mental health, assessment and education, and live performing arts together.
We are addressing relevant issues of today, such as bullying, cyberbullying, body shaming, and a lot of things that teenagers of today are overly exposed due to social media.
In the case of cyberbullying, a 12-year-old classmate jumped to her death a month ago.
All the stories that I have in this project are real stories.
Relentlessly tormented by 2 classmates for a year.
My idea is to have like an Instagram scrolling, for example. Incoming texts, everything that would go on your phone or in your mind.
Romeo and Juliet is one of the scenes that we're using that's different than what it was intended. We're trying to find a relevant connection and serve a purpose through that. Because this topic is so sensitive, we didn't want to cast it in a traditional way. We wanted to allow for the artists to bring more of themselves to this work.
We need to bring up the game to be as flashy and bright with the compelling message that we want to offer. And that costs money. And it takes resources, effort, and people that know how to make that happen.
It's not just singing, it's not just music, it's not just theater. It also has to do with a lot of visual elements. And in this project, we're commissioning a visual artist to create kind of a second story.
I think what they're doing at Central City Opera now with this marrying of teen mental health awareness and opera is incredible.
Could that be more like a painful?
Yeah.
I have myself struggled with mental health issues. By talking about it, by putting it in front of people and recognizing that's a real thing that affects way more people than you would know, that's how things are going to get solved.
We all have had some version of these stories, and so showing opera can be related to real life and also using opera to give life to those stories, for me, was just very impactful.
I think young people today could benefit from the ability to be seen. And I think opera is an art form that can show them that.
The more ways we can showcase this art and our message is going to create a bigger impact.
If we reach one person, then it will be worth it all.